You don't need to do anything. When we say we need to do something, it's placing a judgment that what we're doing is wrong. It could be true. The reason why I'm challenging it is because of the energy that's behind it. I want you to consider how you feel saying that. For all I know, I could be full of shit, but at the very least, you're challenging your own language to figure out what's fueling you to say that. All right, today I'm gonna bring you guys to a client's office. I work with the CEO as a client of mine, and then the company, the team has access to schedule sessions with me. So we got a couple sessions today, so I'm gonna bring you through a partial day at the office and see what else we get into today. It's been a little over 5 years since I actually rode my BMX bike. And a lot of people, especially the people in BMX that don't know me well, never really understood why I decided to leave. So today I figured I'd bring you through a demonstration of why that is. And in short, I decided that what I went through with overcoming multiple brain tumors throughout my BMX career, multiple injuries, surgeries for all the above, and all the things I learned about resilience and mindset and grit and determination and vision and creativity and passion, I realized that I learned how to accomplish something I saw in my mind that other people couldn't make sense of, because with their senses, they couldn't understand it. But with my senses, my vision, I could slowly start to apply the effort and the actions to make that happen. And I did so. I was successful at it. So a lot of people that started reaching out to me over the years, I started to realize a pattern with these people asking me for help or saying that I was inspiring, or just, mentioning that they were stuck and they wanted to change. And what I came to the conclusion of is we all live by patterns. That's our brain's natural objective, is to create patterns for efficiency purposes. And the challenge is if you're not aware of those patterns and how they formed or how they're affecting you today, they could be holding you back, or at worst, they could be pulling you down even further behind where you want to go, or they could be propelling you forward. And so what I love to do is help people discover these blind spots that are these reactive, unconscious habits and patterns that keep people stuck in the familiar, safe area of life that they feel the familiarity of. Even though it's undesirable, it's what's known. And that's what is one of the first barriers to overcome, is getting out of that unfamiliar zone. And so the work I do today with clients as a mindset high performance coach is helping people discover that blind spot and identify the things they want in life, and auditing, are those truly the things they want, or are they things that have been suggested to them over their lifetimes by other people in their lives, whether it be their parents, their peers, the media, society, so on and so forth. Because once we get clear on that, we can figure out what is your purpose. For what purpose do you want X, Y, or Z, or want to do X, Y, or Z? And what I love to help people do is to bridge the gap between their intentions and executing on those intentions, so that way they can create a life of deep aligned meaning and purpose and feel fulfilled. And so we have to replace reactivity with greater resilience, energy, and focus. And it all starts with understanding, where do you want to go, like in life? What do you want to create? What do you want to experience? What do you want to do? And what does that look like for you? And most people that feel stuck is because they're out of alignment. They're out of alignment with what they say is important to them and their actions. And that's what's creating the experience that they don't want to have. And so that's what I love to help people with. And so today we're going to go to a client's office, and I have a session with the CEO and some other people today. And I'm just gonna bring you through. There he is.
What up, dude?
What's up, man? Good to see you.
Good to see you too, dude.
You said a bunch of key words that I think is really important. It is more than okay, it is necessary and important to have an intention rather than expectation. The key words you used were emotion and attachment. So when we have an expectation, that's an attachment based on an emotion of, it could be like a positive emotion, like I want this to happen, but we're attached to it. Or it could be a negative emotion fueling, like I want this to happen so this doesn't happen, so I don't feel this way. So that's what's key about what you said. And it reminds me of the quote, expectation is resentment in utero. When you think of that, it's like there's so much pressure and weight we put onto an expectation because we're attached to the outcome, that just sets us up for failure in two ways. One, we don't get the outcome we want. We feel whatever kind of bad about it. Or two, we avoid the possibility of something even better happening because of the consciousness that we're creating that expectation from. It limits us. I love that. And also just a slight tweak in language. You don't need to do anything. When we say we need to do something, it's placing a judgment that what we're doing is wrong. Yeah, I mean, there's an appropriate time to use the word need as well. It's more about, and even me challenging the word you just used, like I need to do more of this time blocking, it could be true. The reason why I'm challenging it is because of the energy that's behind it. I want you to consider how you feel saying that. Yeah. Is it loaded? Yeah. Is it full of pressure? Because, you know, for all I know, I could be full of shit saying that. But at the very least, you're challenging your own language to figure out what's fueling you to say that. I choose to believe that language is powerful because of what it's suggesting unconsciously to our mind. And then that becomes a repetitive loop. So the only reason why I push back on the word need is because where is that word coming from? Is it coming from a place of lack? Is it coming from a place from pressure? Or is it coming from a place of alignment? Packages. What do you got? What do you got? Give me out. Hello, Larry. He's not, but did he get a clean cheese? Cheese, come here. Are you clean cheese? Oh, a little damp too. Back at the house, client session went really well, but this was a sensitive conversation. So they didn't want to be on camera, even to share after, which is great. That's how this stuff goes. That's the challenge with vlogging. What I do is to get footage, but I can share, I guess, behind the scenes of what goes on. So I'm back home now. I had a couple sessions at the office. I'm back home about to get some lunch. Jackie is making her lunch as well. And then I have some personal errands and then some editing and stuff like that to do. And then I have a client session again later this afternoon. And then it's Tuesday, so it's date night for Jackie and I. And yeah, that's where we're at. Yeah, I was telling Josh right when we hopped in, I was like, I just saw Tyler's text, so I guess he'll be here in a little bit. And then like right when I finished saying that, you popped in, I was like, it's so funny how like, I feel like the three of us were like, oh, I'm gonna be like a minute late or like 2 minutes late. And we need to like let each other know. And it's like, I appreciate that because that means we have integrity, but I hate being late. There you go. Yeah, actually I have a haircut next week. I just actually put product in my hair today. I went to a client's office and had some meetings, so I actually did something with my hair instead of just a hat. That's what I was saying to Tyler when I got tickets that were like very like second row back from stage. It may have just been the theater, but I was just like this the whole time. And I was like, this is cool, but this kind of sucks. Like it'd be sick to sit in the front row with a balcony looking down, like just relaxing. Yeah, it's interesting, the shift of the wording. The shift in wording, what I'm speaking of is where I went from like this sense of like this peace, like moment of peace, this feeling of peace. I love how you changed the word from peace to freedom. I think what I was feeling and the word I was using was like this like feeling of like true faith. Like we talk about faith. We have faith in the unknown. We have faith in ourselves. Some people have faith in religion, spirituality, universe, source, whatever. And so on one hand, I felt getting into your deepest fear of a loved one not coming back or whatever it is. I felt that and I experienced that. And then it connected to my brother and the loss I felt and the pain. And that is what all came out. And then my eyes caught one of the photos of us looking at each other from when we first started dating. And I was like, we still have that. And on this other hand, I had this like deep feeling of gratitude and love. And I connected that was like, oh, this is what people talk about with faith. Yeah, I mean, you said it, proud of all of us. And it's also what I love and appreciate about all three of us is we're willing to seek out the discomfort because we know the liberation, what that feels like on the other side. And with that weight being lifted, we can reconnect with the deepest parts of ourselves that we've been trying to hide, whether consciously, mostly unconsciously. And that allows us to connect more with other people because we're more connected to ourselves. And that's the very thing that I experienced this past weekend. It sounds like we're all experiencing different versions of that and how we go about that. But in the micro, but in the macro, it's the same thing. When you feel lighter, you can connect with yourself because you feel safer, because you're not hanging on to other people's shit. Well, let's start off with what's been going well and why is that so? What did you want to focus on today? Tell me more about it with the performance audit and this piece of being bad at prioritizing yourself. That makes sense.
Because looking back at your performance audit, metabolic health and psychological resilience were the two areas for improvement. I mean, everything on that is connected one way or another. And so that also makes me want to highlight when you talked about energy regulation, emotionally exhausted. Metabolic health, I mean, we've talked a lot about that with the tracking. I mean, at the same time, you have this motive to do work things. You have a plan for work. You have a vision, it sounds like, of what you want to accomplish and these goals, and you're finding yourself not prioritizing yourself. So let's go down a thought experiment for a second. For what purpose do you go to work? Yep. For what purpose? One thing I do know is you value growth and progression, and you've explained that to me in a professional sense. In the personal sense, there's some murky water, it seems like. Mainly I'm picking up on like a sense of like, I don't know what I want to do. So what do you think's really going on here? What do you feel right now? I'm picking up on like a theme. The only thing I've heard about yourself is that you're the catalyst to other things. And so the theme of not prioritizing yourself is evident, and it's woven through all that. I don't think you're bad at prioritizing yourself. What I think from the way you've described all these things is you have a fear of trusting yourself. And it seems like it's easy for you to almost abandon yourself and then put all of yourself into work or other people. No matter what goals we set or what we work on, if that's what's driving all of this, you're going to continue to feel energetically drained, emotionally drained, so on and so forth. Because you can only achieve so much to feel better about yourself before systems start to break down internally. That's not to say you're incompetent. You can be very successful in one domain of life and also abandon yourself personally. Your drive to succeed, that's evidence for me, and just getting to know you. But personally, there's a lack of care, like a self-care for a generic term. And you even shared you're bad at prioritizing yourself. And so my question with all that said is, what are you afraid of when you prioritize yourself? Because the importance of this is to getting to the root of who you are, because I sense there's like a disconnect with who you are at your core. Well, I'm glad it resonated, you know, and I think, I know you'll get value out of this just from doing it. Doesn't matter what you write or speak, just pursuing it. I appreciate you sharing so openly. I truly mean that. The beauty of what I do is the more work I do, like the more inner deep work I do, the better I can understand my clients and see things that I'm working through or have worked through and continue to work through. That's why it's a practice, and then be able to help support and empower my clients that much better.